So, hello everyone. So today I'm going to do another new engines video. Now one thing I should mention before I show you the new engines that I got. The other thing I want to mention being, of course, that this is the second new engines video this year that I made so far. I'm pretty sure, since pretty much, yeah. I figured I'd mention that, so yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So, before we get started, I just want to say, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself a bit. I tend to do that sometimes. But anyways, without further ado, let's get on to the items, shall we? So pretty much the first item I'll show you is actually not an engine, it's actually a set. So let me grab it here. This is the first item that I got, that I mentioned, like I said, is a set. The item that I got first is the 5-in-1 track builder bucket. Sorry, what I meant to say was not bucket, but 5-in-1 track building set. There we go. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's what it says. Oh, it says, okay, builder. There we go. So, yeah, I'm sorry if I'm getting the name mixed up. Like I said, I figured I'd mention that. Also, by the way, one thing I should mention is that all of these items I'm showing you, I got back in April. Since, as of course you know, April was last month. And now it's, of course, May. So, yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So, I figured I'd mention that. So, yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So, as you can see, this is the 5-in-1 set. And I'm going to try to grab my camera, or phone, I should say, the best I can. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So as you can see, here's the set, and my aunt actually got this for me at a thrift store, and unfortunately it didn't come with the Thomas that it comes with, but it's alright. I don't mind too much since pretty much, yeah. But as you can see, here's the set, and a lot of the pieces are actually in here, so that's pretty cool. Since I'm not going to open this set in this video, since it was technically already open when I got it, and I played with it that same day when I got it, but still, but pretty much, yeah. So I figured I'd mention that. But this, well, pretty much, even though this didn't come with Thomas, it also came with some other pieces, but I forgot what came in here. All I remember is that a lot of the pieces came in this set. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So that's pretty much the set that I got. And now, let's move on to the next item, shall we? So the next item I'll show you is another item that my aunt got for me at a thrift store, and that item being Percy. Now, this is actually a special Percy, since I don't know the exact name of this Percy, but that's all I remember, is that I have a Thomas like this that I got last year, that my aunt also found at a thrift store. So now I have Thomas and Percy that are like this, and like I said, and I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to like move on its own, but when I tested, unfortunately it didn't move on its own, so I don't know. But I'm pretty sure the Thomas that I have that's like this did move on its own, so I don't know. But I remember that this Percy does talk, and that when he goes, like when he talks, his steam like lights up. But unfortunately, even though this Percy doesn't run, he does run a bit. But unfortunately, when I tested him, he didn't go much. But either way, that's pretty much all I have to say about this Percy. Overall, I'm pretty happy to have him, since he's a pretty cool model. So that's pretty much, yeah. So let's move on, shall we? So the next item that I'll show you here is Kana. Now, one thing I should mention is that I already have Kana, but I wanted to see about getting another one of her. And as you can see here, I was able to, so I think it's pretty cool. And pretty much, yeah. And I figured that I should mention that I got Kana from Amazon. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. I figured I'd mention that since I mentioned where I got the other two things from. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So anyways, moving on. So moving on to the next item that I got is a Shima. Now, just like with Kana, I actually already have this Shima, but this is actually my third motorized all-engines go Shima, since I actually wasn't planning on getting a third motorized Shima. But the reason why I got her is because a while back, the same day when I ordered motorized Kana, or Kana here, I should say, I ordered the motorized all-engines go Toby. But well, pretty much, when I got these two items, when I opened them up, I saw that they sent me a Shima instead of Toby. So when I looked on Amazon, I saw why they sent me a Shima, since it turns out on Amazon, for Toby, they have him as a Shima, and even though it has a Shima's name, it doesn't show any pictures of a Shima. It shows pictures of Toby. That's why I thought it was all engines go Toby. But pretty much, like I said, needless to say, me and my aunt, we called Amazon, since my aunt was the one that got these for me. But like I said, so pretty much I told my aunt about this, since my aunt was the one who ordered these characters for me, which I just want to say thank you to my aunt for getting these for me. Like I said, I really appreciate it. But pretty much like I was saying, since my aunt was the one who ordered these for me, I basically told my aunt when I saw her the next time, which was the next day when I got these two, I basically told her that they sent me the wrong one. So me and my aunt, we called Amazon and we told them what happened, and we told them the one I actually wanted. But needless to say, they were nice enough and they let me keep the Tsushima. So now I have another Tsushima since, and of course, like I said, now I have another one. I plan to like make her into a custom, but I don't plan to do that anytime soon. But either way, it's still nice to have another one. So that's what pretty much, yeah. So that's how I got it. Well, that's basically how I got a free Tsushima. Since what I mean by free is, I mean they get my aunt her money back for it. So that's how I ended up getting a free Tsushima. So thank you to Amazon. I really appreciate it. But pretty much, yeah. But I figured I mentioned that. So maybe someday, hopefully, I'm able to get the motorized all and just go Toby. But for now, it's alright. Since either way, I still ended up getting another character. So that's pretty cool. So anyways, moving on, shall we? So next up here we have is All Engines Go Talking Thomas. Now this is actually a newer one, since for those of you who don't know, they have two regular Talking Thomases, and they actually have three All Engines Go Talking Thomases, two regular ones, and one that comes with the set. But unfortunately, I don't have the one that comes with the set. But I do have the two regular All Engines Go Thomases, and one interesting thing is that this is actually the third of these Talking Thomases that I have. Well, this is the third Talking Thomas that I have. That's the second one. I only have one of the first one that they made that's regular, but I don't mind too much. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So as you can see, here's Thomas and pretty much, yeah. So anyways, moving on. The next character that I'll show you here is Talking Percy. Now this is the regular All Engines Go Talking Percy. Well, actually the second one, I should say, since the first Talking Percy that they made had like this design on them. And I actually have the first All Engines Go Talking Percy that they made, but like I said, needless to say, this is the second one of the second Talking Percy that they made, since the first Talking Percy I got, well, this one, I got back in December, but that was after Christmas, so I didn't show them in a video, since one thing I should mention is that sometimes when I get new engines, I forget to make a video about them, and that was the case for Percy, as well as the other characters that I got that day. I actually forgot the other characters I got the same day I got Percy, but all I remember is that Percy was one of the characters I got. So that's pretty much, yeah. So I figured I'd mention that. So that's pretty much, yeah. So like I was saying, moving on, the next character that I'll show you is, well, this character, that being Arthur. Now one thing I should mention is that I already have Arthur, but one interesting thing is that my aunt got this item for me recently, since recently Arthur, along with the next three items I'll show you, my aunt got for me at a thrift store. And pretty much, like I said, one of the people that was selling the items there at the thrift store, they had some Trackmasters, and my aunt was actually going to buy all the Trackmasters. So like I was saying, this is not the only Trackmaster items that guy was selling, since the guy that was selling these items, my aunt got a couple of them for me, like I mentioned. So that's pretty much, yeah. So she got Arthur, as well as another engine, and two rolling stock, but we'll be looking at those in a bit. But the other items that the guy was selling some tracks and two other engines. The other two engines that he was selling that my aunt didn't get from me, unfortunately, were Thomas and Stanley. But unfortunately, they were broken, according to my aunt. That's why she didn't get them from me. But pretty much, yeah. So I figured I'd mention that, but I don't mind too much, since I of course have Thomas, and I of course have Stanley. But still would have been nice to have another Stanley for customs and stuff like that. And it would have been nice to have another Thomas for, of course, customs. But I don't mind too much, since according to my aunt, those were the only four engines that the guy was selling. Arthur, along with the other engine that my aunt got for me, and Thomas and Stanley, and the two rolling stock that the guy was selling, my aunt got for me as well. And the other thing that guy was selling was some track, but pretty much, yeah. But even though I didn't get Thomas Stanley with the track, I don't mind too much. But pretty much, yeah. So that's pretty much Arthur. So yeah, so moving on. The next item that I got is Ferdinand. Like I mentioned, Ferdinand was the other engine that guy was selling, that man got from me. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, so there's not much to say about Ferdinand. Although one thing I should mention is that this is my third Ferdinand, since I have a regular Ferdinand, I have the Muddy Ferdinand, and this is my second regular Ferdinand, aka my third Ferdinand. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. And plus I'm happy to have another Ferdinand, since my original regular Ferdinand that I got, unfortunately, he doesn't run properly, and neither does this Ferdinand. I mean, this Ferdinand does run, but unfortunately, when he was running, when I was running him the other day. Unfortunately, like the way he was running, like there's something about him, but I don't mind too much. But either way, it's nice to have another Ferdinand. So yes, we'll put in our chair. So let's move on, shall we? So the next item that I'll show you here is this tar tanker, or this tanker I should say. I almost said tar tanker, but speaking of tar tankers, the reason why I said it is because this is actually the custom that I plan to turn this tanker into, and I plan to make it into a tar tanker. And speaking of this tanker, I actually have another tanker like this, so both of these tankers I plan to use for tar tanker customs. So put in our chair. So since I never had any tar tankers, so put in our chair. So I think that'll be pretty cool. And put in our chair. So like I said, this is the first rolling stock that guy was selling, and put in our chair. And last but not least, this is the final rolling stock that guy was selling is this red brake van. And speaking of this red brake van, just like with this tanker, I already have one of these tankers, so this is the second tanker that I have of this tanker I should say, and Pernarcha. And this is the second red brake van that's like this that I have, since this red brake van actually comes with Ferdinand, and this tanker I'm pretty sure actually comes with Stanley, so Pernarcha. So like I said, so needless to say, since this car comes with Ferdinand, I know I have two of them, since like I mentioned, I have two regular Ferdinands. So either way, like I said, I'm pretty happy to have this car since it's pretty cool. So yes, so that's all the Trackmasters that I got from that one guy that was selling them. And now for the second items, well, now for the other items that Maya got from me at the thrift store that guy was selling. And pretty much, yeah, so let's get started. So the other guy that was selling Tom's items at the thrift store that day that Maya got items from me at was stuffed animals. And as you can see, this is the first stuffed animal that Maya got from me from that guy, since he only had two Thomas items that were stuffed animals, but I don't mind too much since I still think it's pretty cool. So as you can see, here's Thomas, and as you can see, here's the tag, and pretty much, yeah. And like I mentioned, since that guy was selling two Thomas items that were stuffed animals, my aunt got both of them from me, and here's the other one that he was selling, the other one being James. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So anyways, moving on. The next items I'll show you here is, well, items that aren't from a thrift store, but from actual stores. And the first one being a Shima. Now, this is the other Origins Go Shima. Well, the motorized push along one. What am I saying? So like I mentioned, this is the second Ashima in this video. I'm sorry about that. I'm getting my words mixed up. Like I said, I can't help that. But pretty much, yeah, what I'm trying to say is that this Ashima mine got from me from Amazon, and this Ashima I actually ordered the same day as Kana and that other Ashima, even though I wasn't expecting Toby. But I already mentioned that before. But even though I didn't get Toby that day, I still got the motorized Ashima. So needless to say, I have the push along and motorized Ashima now. What I'm trying to say is that I already had the motorized Ashima, but now I have the push along one too. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So that's pretty much Ashima and pretty much, yeah. So let's move on, shall we? Next item here that I'll show you is All Engines Go push along Young Bao. Now for those of you who don't know, I already have a bunch of Young Baos from All Engines Go, but I can't help that. I just really like his design, since in all honesty, I really love Young Bao, since he's a pretty cool character. And pretty much, yeah. So, like I said, I forget to mention that. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. And unfortunately, I still haven't been able to find the motorized All Engines Go Young Bao, since that's one of the main items I'm looking for. I've only been able to find the push-alongs of Young Bao, but I don't mind too much, since I at least have another one. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So, I figured I'd mention that. So yeah, so pretty much, yeah. Moving on, the next item I'll show you here is All Engines Go Toby. Well, the push along one. Now, like I mentioned before, even though I don't have the motorized Toby from All Engines Go, I have the push along one, since this is actually the third All Engines Go push along Toby that I got. But I don't mind too much, since in all honesty, I really like this Toby design, since I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, so I'm putting out, yeah. So moving on, last but not least, the final item in this video that I'll show you here is All Engines Go push along Harold. Now, well, what I'm trying to say is that this is the push along Harold, but putting out, yeah, like I mentioned that. So yeah, so putting out, yeah. Now, one thing I should mention is that this is the second All Engines Go Harold that I got. Well, that's push along, I should say. So yeah, so putting out, yeah. Like I said, I think it's pretty cool. Now, one thing I should mention is that I didn't notice at first when I got my first All Engines Go push along Harold is that I didn't know that he has, well, that he has 3 rotaries, or whatever they're called, or propellers, whatever you want to call them. Like I said, I didn't know it at first. I thought that he only had 2, but when I opened them up the first time, I saw that he actually had 3 of them, so I think that was pretty cool. So yeah, so Pinocchio, that's Harold and Pinocchio. And with that, that's pretty much all the items that I got, well, for April, and that I'll be showing you in this video. So yeah, so Pinocchio. Before in this video, there's a couple things I want to mention. The first thing I want to mention is that I've said it before, but I'll say it just one more time. I just want to say I'm sorry if I'm getting my words mixed up. But well, what I actually wanted to say is that I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself a bit. Like I said, I can't help that. But Pinocchio, I forget I mentioned that. So Pinocchio. And pretty much to end off this video, there's one thing I just want to mention is that I actually am expecting to get another character soon, but I won't say what that character is. But you'll have to wait to see it. And Pinocchio. So yeah, so I figured I mentioned that. So yeah, so Pinocchio. So with that, that's pretty much all I'm saying. So anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, and bye everyone. Bye.